Hello darlings, Sunday morning, and I thought I would do a review on The End We Start From. It's quite the book. It's not obviously very big, however it certainly packs a punch. So we will start with the typical introduction of who Megan Hunter is. First published in May the 18th, 2017 by Grove Press, a Kindle edition, 160 pages. First published in the 14th of November 2017 by Grove Atlantic, hardcover, 136 pages. This copy, the one I have, April the 25th, 2018, Picador by Pan Macmillan, paperback, 129 pages. There we go. It's got a tie-in with the film as well. Nice little natty picture there of Jodie Comer and Baby Z. Yes. It's dedicated to her mother and her son, and a little bit of blurb about Megan Hunter, if you don't know who she is. The End We Start From has been translated into 8 languages. It was shortlisted for the Novel of the Year at the Book Are My Bag Awards, longlisted for the Aspen Words Prize, was a Barnes & Noble Discover Awards finalist, and won the Forward Review's Editor's Choice Awards. Her writing has appeared in The White Review, the TLS, Literary Hub, Bomb Magazine, and elsewhere. Her second novel, The Harpy, will be published in 2020, so she's already starting to make a little bit of a name for herself. Good on you, Megan, because actually, for it being a very small book, very dystopian in nature, very apocalyptic, you know the saying, less is more? In this case, yes, absolutely. You don't need a lot to convey the message that Megan is trying to give us. And so we begin. If you've not read this book, perhaps stop the video and go and read it, because this video includes spoilers. Okay? So, getting that out of the way, now we're going to go in and talk about it. Oh, I'm sorry if my voice sounds a little scratchy. I'm afraid I've come down with a dreaded lurgy, which is probably why I look like a bag of spanners as well. So there we are. Anyway, you're not here to look at me, you're here to hear about what the book ensues. My thoughts on the novel. Well, yeah, here we go. Very choppy writing, no dialogue. All the characters are referred to as an initial. Very detached, a very confused mind. The very confused mind. Yes, what I'm about to tell you will explain why that is. Yeah. So, here we go. It's written in the form of a diary of a very confused time and a very emotional time. Dates and times, they're going to blend. They're just going to, it's not really going to matter. What matters is survival at any cost. Or should it be any cost? Woman, for we do not know her name, has just given birth in London, a first world city, in a first world country, with a first class National Health Service, which due to a natural event has been plunged into a third world disaster zone. The residents of London And the citizens of the United Kingdom know this is coming and have been given time to prepare. However, just before it happens, the scientists and boffins say, "Oh, whoops, silly us. Oh my goodness me, false alarm everybody, it's okay. You're no longer in the gulp zone. Calm down, you don't have to move home after all." Woman feels the person who coined the phrase gulp zone should be boiled in noodles. I'd be feeling the same way. Massive, cumbersome, with child, told you have to move, and then told you not, and left to panic and then not to panic. Yeah, I'd want to boil you in noodles as well. I'd want to deep fry you. We actually start the novel with... I'm going to have to read this part to you because it's beautiful. "I am hours from giving birth, from the event I thought would never happen to me, and R has gone up a mountain, R being her partner. When I text him, he sends his friend S to look after me and starts down the mountain. S is scared and has brought J. J is also scared and has brought beer. They watch me from a corner of the room, as though I am an unpredictable animal, a lumbering gorilla, with a low slung belly and suspicious eyes. Occasionally they pass me a banana." And that's how we start the novel. A beautiful experience, a beautiful, wonderful experience of giving birth to your first child. It's the most terrifying moment of your entire life. You are huffing and puffing and pacing and worrying about the pain, about the future for you, the future for your child. And all this is going on against the backdrop of a natural disaster that's just about to happen. Literally, as her waters break, the flood waters coming to the house. Talk about a metaphor. Amazing. Absolutely amazing and utterly terrifying. Absolutely. It's a very beautiful book. It feels like poetry in many respects. Very sparse in nature, but delivers a very strong, stark message. She has nothing but her newborn son. Everything she had is now underwater. London, her London, is now a war zone. Nowhere is safe. She and R must run to the north if they are to survive. A slow start, a drip of a tap, suddenly it becomes a torrent of a waterfall. Don't assume anything or take anything for granted in this new, strange water world. It's as though the shock of the birth and the ensuing pain of the aftermath have rendered this poor woman mute, to the point she can only articulate through metaphors and interpretive dance. Yes, I think her mind has gone to plaid. And yet she must function in a way that she's never had to function before. You have gone from this person of Am I okay? Have I got up this morning? Have I had something to eat? Have I had something to drink? 2, is this child okay? What does this child need? Can I give this child what it needs? Am I in a position where I can take care of this child? And your needs, well, they're just not important anymore. The only thing that's important is this newborn, and to make sure that this newborn survives. You go on autopilot. You must do. I did. And bearing in mind, I had my children when everything was perfect. Lights came on at a flick of a switch, water came out of the tap, and if I wished to cook something, there was gas coming out of the oven. This woman has got none of that. None of it. She just has to do. Cope. Disposable nappies. Disposable what? There's nothing left. The baby's going to need changing. The baby's going to need feeding. Oh, gosh. Her thought process switches from, well, here we are, yay, look at me, how I am bossing this situation, to breaking down and thinking, what the F just happened? You can see the thought process going through her mind. She's about to encounter the 13th commandment. Thou shalt not let this experience break me. That is your 13th commandment. Remember it. You're going to need it. Somehow, with her partner R, they make it to his parents' house. They are referred to as N and G. N is the father and G is the mother. They stay with them for a few weeks. And I'm going to read you a little bit from the book regarding staying with them and what happens. It's brutal, so be prepared. Get the right page. The day they don't come back from shopping is a beautiful day. The sun through green leaves and the baby getting visibly fat. I have warmed soup, and when the clock gets late, I push the pot to the back of the stove. I sing to Z, I watch the sky dim and switch off. We go to bed. Instead of putting him in his basket, I lay him next to me and fall asleep, with my nose pressed against his pulsing temple. And on that day, the wind will rush through the fields like a reckoning, and the mothers will hold their children, and the shepherds will lose their sheep. That's a bit of a gut-wrenching feeling for what's coming. In the morning, things are empty and strange, like camping used to be. I have started to think of myself as a bear, with my young clinging to my neck, when I hear the car. R and N climb out slowly. There is no G. They come into the house like soldiers, like fading people from an old photo. No G. A tea towel in the back of the car, a crumple of pastel, one of her favourites, and G is no more. Grandma is no more. Yeah, that's awful. It's the first horrible thing that happens to this family. The food stocks are beginning to dwindle. They tried to start an allotment. R abandons trying to build the new home for him and mother and baby Z. Food really low. R and N go for supplies. They are gone for a very long time. Suddenly a car engine sounds. It's R. I will read the next bit to you, my darlings. The car arrives when I am not watching or listening. I am asleep in the soaking light of our bedroom, with Z sprawled on my belly, snuffling into the mother flesh. We are beasts in the sun. We are for seconds oblivion. R is in the room like a man with a machine gun, in a teenage bedroom in the middle of the night. He has no gun, but somehow this is what it is like. I think I saw this in a film. He is shouting that we have to leave now. I am nap blank. I have forgotten R's words. In a move, in and out of focus. Something is nearly happening, he seems to be saying. Z lifts his head, a heroic effort. He does not cry, but regards his father as you would a fly. Curious, irrelevant. In the car I realise I have no nappies. The stacked supply in the cupboard that grew shorter every day, like a reversed child, I have left it behind. Nappies, I say in a sotto voce. He is squashed against me froggily, the seatbelt wrapped over his shoulders. I imagine the curdy shit flowing through his clothes, gathering in my crotch as we drive. There in the back R manages through a grip of his mouth. He is driving the car like a tank. I turn my neck. The whole back seat is filled with tins, stacked in wholesale rows of 3. At the edge I spot the optimistic colours of nappy packaging, a glimpse of a cartoon giraffe's neck. R is yellow-white. He is wearing the same clothes he was wearing when he left 2 weeks ago. I don't ask him. Yeah, they are now on the run from the most impossible disaster. Us, humans, and they're what we're capable of. They manage to escape and head north, cross over the border into Scotland. Are they safe? We follow on to the entrance, eventually, of a refugee camp. Only mother and child are able to stay, so R must leave. Splitting of the family. I can see how and why it happened. Had it been me with a newborn versus what I know now, would I have allowed myself to be parted from my husband? Knowing what I know now, no. Back then, you're a young mum, you've nothing, you need to feed the child, you need to feed yourself. I can see why refugee camps are very, very... yeah, you'd want to go into one. That's why you get prepared. Mother makes friends with another mother called O. She has a child called C. O tells mother of a refugee on an island she's going to with another family, with 2 older children. They are referred to as H, O's friend from college, his wife F, and their children B and W. At this point, the refugee camp is attacked and raided for food. Mother and O run with their children and escape with 2 other men who help them. They are referred to as D and L. And they're really, really good men, really good eggs. And they help get them through the checkpoint and all the way to the beach. and eventually unite them with H and F and the two children being W, and they get on a boat and escape to the island. At this point, this is the only part of the book where calmness ensues, and they stay there until Woman asks, many months later, to go back. She wants to go back to her home in London to find her partner R. She refers to him as her husband. H agrees to sail her back to the mainland and to escort her and baby Z to the authorities to ensure she is safe and the baby is safe. They manage to get her to a collection point so she and baby Z can get on a coach and go home to London. In London, they are put in a women's refugee camp. That's in a huge insurance tower building. Woman fills in many forms, giving information on R, her partner, and where she lived. Eventually, R is found in a hospital. Although he is physically unharmed, his mind is somewhat broken. We end the novel where we started, in the ruined flat, with baby Z taking his first steps in a brand new world. Now I will read you the last part. I let down Z, or I should say I let Z down on the bare damp boards on the rotting wood that glowed a year ago. He grapples around our knees for a few minutes, feels his way over the idea of his parents. Then he lets go. His body stands on its 2 points. He puts his hands up for balance. He lifts a leg and impossible, he takes a first step. So we end with the baby learning to walk in the broken flat that they left a year or so ago. There's lots of things that bother me with this novel. The fact that we only ever get to know all the characters with an initial makes you wonder if they got stuck in the Witness Protection Act. Just a very crass joke, I'm terribly sorry. Yeah, so everybody is referred to by an initial. It seems as though Woman, she was Bridget Jones who became a prepper, but she became a prepper through necessity, and I wouldn't necessarily call her a prepper, to be honest, because she just seems to drift from one situation to the next to the next. There's no coherent thought pattern. She just wants to go from one situation to the next, hoping that the next situation is going to be better than the last situation. And I am really struggling with the fact that she got to safety on an island where food is plentiful and shelter is, they're not going to be attacked. They're surrounded by water, which the whole premise of the book is everything surrounded by water. And the only way that anyone can get to them is by boat, and they are quite away from the mainland. They have ground for growing their own food. They have pure water. They have fuel so that they can cook. They have candles so they have light. They have a generator in case they need a generator. I know she's separated from her husband. I get that. And I know that the need to want to find her husband is so strong. I get that. But my instinct for my child would be stronger. And although I would pine and I would want and I would need for my husband, my my initial thoughts would be I would want to be here on this island for my child, because it is the safest place for me and my child. So for her to give that up and go all the way back to London, not knowing what was waiting for her, I think that was very, very scary. Was she very brave? Yes, she was very brave to go back and do that. But had it not gone the right way, she could have been murdered, and her child could have been taken. This could have definitely have turned into The Road very, very quickly, the Cormac McCarthy. And we all know what happened to the baby in that book. So, yes, it could have very easily have happened. Once you're in a place of safety, unless that place of safety is under imminent threat of it not being very safe, you would not leave. And if you had a child, you would definitely not leave. So my mind is really struggling with that decision. And I don't know, what's your opinion? What would you, as a parent, if you were the parent in this book, would you have stayed on the island, or would you have said, I'm going back to London to try and find my partner? And it was a very much a case of, would she even find him? Because when they got separated at the refugee camp and she had to go off and be with the baby, and he wasn't allowed to stay, at that point, when they split, at that point, anything could have happened to him. So she took a huge, huge risk in going back to London to find him. So yeah, that really bothered me a lot. I thought it was a very thought-provoking and very moving novel. Could this happen to the United Kingdom? God, I hope not. I really hope not. But if it did, we would really have to try to survive on this island. There are 67 million people on this island, and we certainly don't grow enough food to feed all of us, which is why we rely so heavily on imports. Should the imports of food to this country suddenly stop, we have at best a week's worth of food in the warehouses, and after that point things are going to get pretty dicey. So yeah, that's a nice happy cheery thought to finish this review on, isn't it? I'd highly recommend this book. It's, like I say, very, very strange. There's no dialogue in it. Everything's very choppy. You are reading, it's like a diary. You are reading this woman's thoughts from the point she gives birth to the point she goes and finds her husband again in the flat. It's very whimsical in places. It's very brutal in places. It doesn't spare your feelings. I'd give it a solid 10 out of 10. I can't wait to read some more work from Megan. I do feel that this is a girl that you are going to have to watch out for, because from what I've read of her debut novel, which is just phenomenal. Yeah, I'm excited to see what else you're going to do, Megan. I really am. To go with such a heavy subject, an apocalyptic dystopian United Kingdom that is ravaged by war and a natural disaster. Yeah, that's a very meaty subject to take on for your first novel. However, congratulations, my darling, because you did an absolutely banging job. It was fantastic. And I really, really cannot wait to see the film with Jodie Comer. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm probably left it too late to go to the cinema to see it, so I will be waiting for the film to come on to streaming, whenever that will be. Hopefully not too long to wait, and as soon as I have seen the film, I'll be able to do a film review. But from the book point of view, buy yourself a copy and do give it a chance. I know the choppiness of the writing might annoy some people, but you've got to remember what you're reading is somebody's diary from a very disturbed mind from what they've just gone through. Okay? If things were not hard enough, if things are not hard enough, she has to survive the childbirth and survive the first year. So, good luck. Megan, can't wait to see what else you're going to bring out. And what I always say is happy readings, darlings, and enjoy. If you like what I've done, give me a thumbs up. And if you really like what I've done, you can always give me a follow. I'm sure I'll be feeling a lot better when I do my next review, because I'm actually full of cold at the moment. But apart from that, happy readings, darlings, and do enjoy the book. All right. Bye-bye.